the models on Jasmine are extremely attractive. And like movie star, you know, Hollywood, or maybe like you could say like Insta social media type attractive, what, you know, it is now today. And really it's almost like, you know, what they do in OnlyFans, and then Insta is, you're getting a different version of that person because their photos are being altered, of course, and you're seeing something else. But I don't think that's true on the site totally, because I don't think, I mean, their hair, makeup, and wardrobes are better than the other sites. And then I guess the other difference would be there are like one or two Americans or English speaking models. Now, if you're going onto the site for the first time, you won't know that and you won't notice it, because again, I think that the other sites have a lot of models from around the world. But I think Jasmine is like primarily models from, I guess the right way that I would phrase it would be non-native English speaking countries. In other words, they're not from the United States, Canada, Australia, and Great Britain. The models, all of the models, I mean, not all, of course, but like all of them do not speak English. It's a second language if they do. So that's something that you pick up on, probably not right away, but again, that's a difference to me. And then I guess the third would be, if I would say that the website's a little cleaner than some of the others. To me, it's simple. And some of the others, like when you go on, maybe they're a little bit more crowded. And it's a little busier. So like they've clearly decided that they want to strip it down, the website, and make it pretty easy to use. After a while, then I guess the other thing would be, you notice the service. These are all things that take time to notice. But the fact that they have like service people there that can help you all the time. And I don't think that the other sites have that.
No, that's great. So what I heard from you that you've really noticed as a difference from Jasmine to other sites would be that higher quality models as far as presence and looks, and that a lot of the models may be more from European countries or that type of thing. And that you have great customer service instantly.
Yes. Right. Yeah, definitely. And then, so I would say there's a tier. Those are like you hit it correctly, because they're a tier of things. So like you do have to be on the site, I think, for a while to notice some of those things, because again, you might go on the site, and if you've been on these other sites, you might think that they're English speaking models. And then you kind of realize after a while that, like you said, they are from European countries and South American countries, mostly. I know that there are 4 or 5 models from the United States, but it is mostly 99.9% of the models are from those sites, or from those localities and areas. So yeah.
You mentioned like social media, like an Instagram look or an OnlyFans look type of models. And I'm curious, from your perspective, how would you compare Jasmine to like a social media site?
Oh, that's such a great question. That's really important. I can see why you would ask that. So I think, again, I will say, at this point, all social media sites are politicized. And okay, so they're politicized, they're corporatized, they're monolithic. The site goes out of its way to avoid those things, which I think is good, probably, I mean, for a number of reasons. And I think it eventually, it probably cascades its way down to the models, and then eventually makes its way down to, I guess, would be somebody like me, probably. Again, that's probably a really, really good thing. So again, like to me, if I think of Twitter, the first thing that I think of is politics. Like, how can you not think of that? Like, that's what it is. Facebook is getting there and probably there. And again, like all of these things are politicized and corporatized, and they're all about that. I think the site tries to stay far away from that.
Twitter and Instagram, you talked about how there's a lot of politics, which we
Yeah.
know with politics comes tons of negativity.
Mhm.
And you don't get that sense from Jasmine.
No,
Would
no,
you
not at
say
all.
you feel like Jasmine is a much more positive environment?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I could not agree with you more. I think they do a very, very good job of that. And it's never foolproof. Obviously, you can't, when you have, what, 500 models streaming from all over the world, that's pretty hard to manage probably, but they do a pretty good job of avoiding it.
Oh, that's great to
Really
hear.
good, actually. Great, I think. Better
Yeah,
than
that's
good.
great to hear. So I'm going to flip the script on you a little bit. And
Okay.
now I want to ask you, we compare Jasmine to social media, but how would you say Jasmine compares or doesn't to, let's say, traditional porn?
Porn. Yeah, porn probably serves a very specific, straightforward purpose. It's to turn you on. I would say that LiveJasmin has purposes, many purposes, but it's like less straightforward. Because certainly, like as I'm sure you'll ask me about or we'll talk about, like one thing could be that yes, you want to be turned on, but you end up talking to the model for a while, or you get to know them, and there's that. Because the models are not from here, as in like again English speaking countries, you're also exposed to some people that you would not normally meet or know. So there's that. And again, that to me is a significant difference. If I'm watching porn, it's for a very specific reason. And LiveJasmin, the website, does not have that same sort of straightforward trajectory. It could be a number of reasons. Certainly, obviously, I think for a lot of people that go on there and that maybe stay on there, loneliness could be one. Whereas I don't see how porn could ever mitigate that. I think you'd be better with a movie than porn. I think that the even if you go onto the site to be turned on, it's less of like a direct shot to that, and you do a lot more than that when you're on the site. Whereas again, porn is just like click on this thing, it comes up, you watch it, and that's it. And there's a little bit more play. There's another person there.
What I kind of picked up from what you were saying just now is that one of the key and main differences is connection. You're actually connecting with another human being.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Connecting, engagement is another one. You're more engaged because you have to talk to the model, you have to interact with the model. And then ultimately the goal would be a little bit more emotional. That's really what it is too. I mean, so yeah, connection, engagement, emotion. Emotion is hard to come by. It doesn't happen always. But when it does, it's like that's probably the thing that has kept me on the site, or one of the things.
I want to talk about those emotional connections.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So I would say, for me, a big reason for being on the site is work. And it's a double-edged sword in a way. So my day starts at around 8 and it ends at around 6, and it's kind of a long day. And it's not a day that I particularly enjoy. don't really enjoy my job at all, actually, if I'm being honest. It's not something that I don't even know, like, if I've ever really even said that out loud, or if I ever will be able to say it out loud again, but it's something that I just try to keep inside. And so I have to step away from it, basically, because my day consists of those hours, and then it's 10 different people asking me to do 10 different things, followed by 10 different people telling me the things that I'm doing wrong. That would be the summary of my day. And, I hate to, I don't even want to complain about it, because, like, as soon as that comes out of my mouth, I don't really like it, because I don't like where that's going. I don't like where it takes me, because I know that I'm also very lucky. I should consider myself to be very lucky. But I definitely need to be away from work. So there's that. And so work is definitely the biggest reason that I go on the site by far, I would say. I have to get away from work. Just at some point during the day, while I'm working, I have to take a break. I think I'd go crazy. And I have a tendency also, like, when somebody tells me that I'm doing something wrong, I don't just drop it. And when somebody asks me to do something and then it's not getting done, and then they're asking me about it, like, I tend to get a little bit emotional about that. So I have like an emotional, I think, problem with work, and I carry it around with me everywhere I go. And so I think that's the number one reason. Now, I said it's a double-edged sword, because while that would be the bad side, I can't deny that that's what gives me the income to be able to use the site at all. And I mean, it has to be said that I think one of the big differences between LiveJasmin and any other site is it's a little bit more expensive. And so I would imagine that one of the boxes, if you were to, like, figure out who your audience is or who your demographic is in terms of the users, I would say for sure 98% of the members have a job. It has to be somewhere, or maybe like 98% of the users that have been using the site for a while have to have a job, because you have to have some income, you have to have some money to spend. So there's that. So like I said, it's a coin, work sucks, but work gives me some freedom and some things, new car and all of that kind of stuff. So the emotion is, I think, when the best times on the site, the times that I've enjoyed the most, have been times where everything that's going on in my life, rent, bills, work, definitely work, number one. Yes, even family, everything kind of melts away, and like, it kind of like, I'm not thinking about it at all. It just goes away. And granted, it goes away for 15 minutes or half an hour. But the fact that I got those 15 minutes or half an hour is like great. Some people get that from meditation and spirituality. I don't get it from those things. I just can't get into those things. That's not me, I guess. I don't know why. Maybe I haven't tried hard enough. I don't know. Now, that's interesting in that what I'm kind of describing is an unemotional experience, in that everything is melting away. So that has, like, I guess, a Zen-like quality to it, or Zen type of thing. But like, I consider that to be the best emotion, like a blankness, or a meaningful, fulfilling nothingness. I hope this isn't too wonky, or like,
No,
or
this is
whatever, intellectual for you.
incredible. No, this is exactly, honestly, the type of answer that I want. It's honest, and
Yeah.
it's on the profound side, which is great, because I know I actually love meditation, but
Oh, okay. There you go.
what you just described, you said, it's 15 minutes of just all that other stuff melts away. When I meditate, it's the exact same thing. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
I know. Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. I don't really think that there's a huge difference. It's almost like
Right.
your experience, if I understood correctly, this platform is giving you immense stress relief
Yes,
and
yes, absolutely.
causing
100%.
that's
1000%.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And just causing you to be really present when you're on the site and just
yeah,
forget about everything else. Exactly what you described is what I feel after I've meditated or done
yes,
yoga.
yes, yes. That's right. I mean, like I said, other people find and get these things from other things. I guess like I like to write, and some people find that through writing. I think the arts, maybe in general, is another thing. So yeah, that's what it is. Like I love to read too, and reading can be one of those things, or like I guess any kind of entertainment. But I find even there, like I still cannot quiet my thoughts totally. Like they're still kind of active, and they're still like in the background somewhere. And there have been a couple of times when I've used the site where like they just stop. It all just stops and it goes away. It doesn't happen that often. It's something that's rare. Um, but when it does, it's very, very fulfilling. So yeah, it's great.
That was an incredible answer. Thank you so much. My next question, which it leads me to, would be, which I think I have the answer to, but I just want to ask you anyway. What would you say is the number one benefit or value that the site is bringing to your life on a daily basis? Um, you described a second ago more of a profound experience you've had a few times where everything melts away. And
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about because a few times in meditation, I've had that,
right. Yeah,
sometimes in meditation, you're still thinking about other things.
right.
Um, but on a day-to-day basis, what is the biggest benefit that you're receiving from Jasmine?
Um, okay. Again, I do not know this, but I would imagine that the owners of the site know this. But I would think that if you've been on the site for a while, you probably have you primarily see or spend most of your time with 4 or 5 models, or maybe less, or maybe a little bit more, but certainly not a lot. That's my guess. Eventually, over time, you there will be some models that you want to see.
Your
So like
favorite?
this, yes, basically it is. That's what it is. You will have some favorites. Now that's me. If you're talking about like a smaller type of thing, it's definitely being able to see the models that I like. And they're not always there, which is great too, because no one should have to work more than like 10 hours a day or something like that, or 5 days a week or 4 days a week or whatever it is. But I would say that that most of the money that I spend on the site, most of my time on the site goes towards, like I said, 4 or 5 models,
Yeah, that
mostly.
makes sense.
Not all of the money and time on the site, but the majority, the vast majority. Again, I'm guessing I would say that's probably true for a lot of people.
So you would say that just everyday benefit that it's bringing is that you get to connect with these
Yeah,
models that you have developed a friendship and relationship with. So it's like a coffee break with someone
sure.
you care
Yeah.
about.
Yes, definitely. It's just nice to see them. 100%. Yes. 1000%. Definitely.
But that tells me that these 4 or 5 models are bringing enough joy into your life.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you because I've been interviewing models as well. And models have said, we've made life-changing connections with some of the members.
Mhm.
And I want to ask you if you feel like you've made a life-changing connection with some of the models.
So I was thinking about this. Like if I worked if you ask me to like create like a sales pitch for the website, or like, distill it into like 10 seconds, I would say it is a platform or a service where you find 4 or 5 people that you love and that you can interact with. Now, there's a little bit of a difference there, right? Between loving someone and being in love. Life-changing moves it a little bit to me in the direction of being in love. And I am not particularly crazy about that with something like this. I think you've got to draw a little bit of a line there. And just interacting with somebody that you love is somebody that you deeply care about. There are a lot of pet owners that love their dogs and their cats and their fish and parakeets, but they are not, I would venture to say, they are not in love with their dogs, right? You are in love with your partner. You are not in love with maybe your best friend, who you probably do love. So I would say I'm not sure about the life-altering relationships yet. But again, I think there's a line, and that's where I like the line. I like the line of, we should not be in love with the models, but we love them, right? We don't, because in love is more trenchant. Whereas loving somebody is, I think, a great thing. And maybe we need more of that.
We absolutely do. And you're so wise. Thank you so much for
I'm
your
not,
thoughtful
but thank you.
responses. Yes, they're very thoughtful responses, and we really appreciate them. So I like exactly what you said, in that you basically said you're fully aware of having healthy boundaries with the
Yes.
site.
Yes, of course. We absolutely need that. And all of these platforms need that. Every single one of them. OnlyFans, for sure, definitely that one. All the social media sites need that. And it's very important for just a whole number of reasons. Again, it'll affect it could, not having those good, healthy boundaries, it ends up, I think, impacting both parties in different ways. So yeah, really the thing that I just mentioned with boundaries, that is something that they've thought about or they know about. So whatever my ideas are not novel. And they've decided to do a lot of work in that area, and whatever work they've done, they did a very good job. So yeah, bravo.
That's a great thing to hear. Thank you so much for saying that.
Only question that I have is, I watched some of the videos on YouTube.
On Life in Red?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're doing those interviews, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this, I guess, and then I watched, I think, and then they're also on the website, right?
Yeah.
So there's the website. So this is for, I'm being like serious. Are you like one of the owners of the website? I have no idea.
No, I'm not. No.
Whenever I kept saying that, like, I kept saying, like, I don't know who owns the website, who runs the website. I don't even know if I care that much. So I at the very end there, I just realized that you could, in fact, be the owner of the website. And I'm saying all of this. I have no idea. So like, I
How
thought maybe
funny.
I should have. I thought I should ask that, because it just crossed my mind out of nowhere. I was like, wait a second, I'm saying all this stuff about like the business and who owns the website and runs the website. And I'm like, is it her?
How funny would that be if I was like, I want to
Yeah, I
know,
know.
I really want to know what my customers are feeling and thinking. So I'm going to do the interviews myself. No,
Yeah.
I am not the owner of the website. I am an
Okay.
employee of the company that owns the website. So
Oh, okay. Okay. I see. I
yeah.
see. I understand. Got it. Check. Okay, good. Great.
Well, thank you so much for this
Thank
interview.
you.
You gave such a thoughtful interview, and I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I did my best. If it was thoughtful, your questions were great. They were probing and they made me think. So that's why.
Thank you so much.